Welcome to my YouTube channel, by the way.
Hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Opeyemi Olugbemiro, and if you're visiting here for the first time, that's also fine. And if this is like you're one of the people who have been seeing my videos and experienced the pause for like a bit, you're welcome back. A lot of things happened, yeah. And maybe one of these days I'm going to take out an episode on this channel to kind of like discuss what the experience is, right? But let me put it this way. Today I'm just going to be sharing from my heart. I'm a Nigerian from my heart, Kini heart, about some of the things I have learned like over like the past 7 to 8 months that are relevant to me. Maybe they are helpful to you, but yeah, I'm just going to be sharing from my heart. One of them would be that, to start with, data is really important. I used to be one of those people who would create stuff, and when I kind of like create it, I just leave it. Thankfully there were some other people on the team that were responsible for tracking how effective, for looking at how much impact it made over time, and as a result of the fact that a lot of my work were behind the stage, that is ideation, the document that ensures that people are doing their work on the other side. And because most of them were also client work, where when we delivered, right, it was just them to take responsibility for it and ensure that it goes to the end. I was not so particular about data and how the quality of my thinking or the quality of my work revolves or help XYZ to achieve XYZ. But in the last 7 months, I have had to focus on that a lot, and I think that's one of the things I have learned. And it is so important. Even though some of them I was not able, because as a result of the fact that I was learning on the go, I was not able to pinpoint the exact number movement. But that was one thing I really learned, and it's really important for us strategists, for us, especially those of us that work from the brand side. There's usually this dichotomy from brand and marketing and brand and sales. I don't even think that dichotomy exists in the Nigerian market. Maybe it does, but at a level, because everybody's just expected to bring results in this space. When I mean result, I mean marketing efforts directly connected to sales. However, for me, it was an eye-opener into how a change in the direction of where the referral button is on the app should be measured. Let's say maybe when it was here, right, X number of people were interacting with it and it's pushed up, and Y number of people interacted with it. Let's say changing the quality of images on the website. We were heavy on illustration and we changed to images and we got more closed. We got more customers from the website when we changed the images. That should be tracked. And you should have the numbers as the person who thought through for that to happen. I know for a lot of people who function along the marketing side, it's easier to do that. But yeah, brands people, we need now, right? Paying attention to the numbers is something that I kind of like picked up like over like the last 7 months. Let me just look for a couple of the others so that we are on this together. The second one is that there is a place of consistency that sometimes we undervalue. So you do this, it doesn't work, and maybe you just stop doing it, and as a result of the fact that you think it didn't work the first time, you stop and you don't continue. Or this is even the perspective that I'm looking at it from. It is dangerous sometimes to be the first person to open up a need. People see that they have that need, like the fact that you provide it, and then you disappoint in the middle. What has happened is that people's appetite have been opened to the reality of the fact that that need is important. Now that you are not available, you have created a huge market of people who are going to be moving to your competition as a result of your failure. So what I would try to emphasize with that, which is my number 2 point, is that consistency in the quality of service is really, really important, right? So if, for example, people did not know that they needed X, and now you made them know that they need X, and now after they have known that they need X, you're now not delivering the quality of value that they expect in order to make their life better. What happens now is that they move over to the next person who is providing that value, even if you are the first mover in the market or not. Consistency is important, and a good part of consistency is also constantly communicating with your people. Third one would be, as long as you are doing ads, as long as you are doing marketing that is at scale and bringing in a lot of people, which is very important to survive, or if you're doing B2C, you should also be very intentional about connecting with your people. Because what happens is, if everybody that you have came from the pipeline of maybe an ad they just saw and I feel need this thing, the thing that will happen is that maybe within 3 months they will churn as a result of the fact that they're on the internet again, they'll see another person that does almost exactly the same thing. If you are not making intentional effort across the lifetime journey, right, on your product of this person, so you're learning from how they interacted. Let's even say they came through ads, but after they came through ads, there is like an automation that helps to ensure that you know who they are, you know how they want to be served. There are surveys, there are different elements of your brand that you are very intentional with in terms of connecting with them. Sometimes just randomly calling up to ask them how they're experiencing your service. These things can really drive up people's experience on your product, right? So as much as you're doing big marketing and bringing a lot of people in, you should also be making intentional efforts to connect. Maybe you bring in 100,000, maybe you connect with 100. Those 100 people may now bring in another 100 people through word of mouth. And then you understand at that point, you're getting maybe a couple of people who know you, trust you, can vouch for you, and you're also growing a community of people who can come out to talk about you, defend you when there's an issue. Because again, that's why sometimes you realize that maybe this product has like 1 million users, but nobody really talks about them online, right? Because again, for them, the value is transactional. I come, use the product, it works. If it doesn't work, get out. So there is and what happens for products like this is the day there is another option that looks like it, gives almost exactly the same service, possibly even treats them better, they'll move. Yeah, I think that's like it. I mean, then another thing I've learned, maybe like the third, I think I'm just going to do 5, is that, see, life on the agency side is different from life on the client side. It's different. I mean, so I know that you need possibly the same skill sets, you're drawing from the same level of experience and a lot of things, but the dynamics are different. I think that's why sometimes people who come from agency can sometimes struggle when they come into settings of employment, right? Especially when there are like not a lot of things set in stone in terms of the culture of the places they are coming into. It could be a struggle. However, to just cap it all, it's while they are different, I mean, you can adjust. You can do it. I mean, yes, you can do it. However, it's just you getting ready for the fact that some of the things you thought are ideal may not be ideal, right? The pace at which things would be changing may be different. And now you get to understand, sometimes previously we used to say, we just give the design, we give everything. And 3 months after, you're no more like following the brand guideline and all. And then you come into this space and you realize that yes, life happens on your own. I mean, and then you have a little bit more context to why decisions like that are made on the fly. Although that is not an excuse, because there are downsides to not adhering to simple brand guidelines or not following through on a lot of things. Another thing I think I have also learned is to be able to leverage and make use of people, your peers in the space. I am very, very thankful now that there are several communities, people, developers like meeting each other and interacting across different companies, especially in the Nigerian market, which I'm very, very conversant with. Now another community of a lot of Nigerians in the UK and several other places in the world. But leverage communities have friends, right? Because there will be times when you really you are thrown into something that is new, but what is new to you is not new to them. Case in point, one time when I first had a stint at working in a fintech, I was so concerned around how some people were just saying the wrong things online, and it was bad. And one day, someone just took me around. See, it's happening here. Leveraging communities is like one very important part that I kind of like got to learn. Because the more you grow, the more you're exposed to things that you did not know that people before you are forcibly encountered, especially when you're thrown into a space that you're new to. Like I mentioned, it was fintech, and it's easy for you not to understand patterns when they happen if this is your first rodeo experiencing those patterns. Now, there are some things that just happen and I will just laugh. And they're like, yeah. And it's because, one, I've been thrown into the rubber has hit the root. And also there are now people around me who are helping me to kind of like adjust, learn, and get into the nick of a lot of things. It's been mind blowing, it's been eye opening, but I don't think that I would have asked for something else. I love it. That's what I'm saying. I love the whole experience, and I can't wait to see how much more I can scale this experience in building several other global brands in the future. I think the last one that I'm going to say is sometimes as a result of the fact that you're thrown into something new, it is easy for you to want to overcompensate, right? So you're not doing multiple things at once for you to make yourself known. Let me tell you what will happen at the end of the day. You may not be able to, you will drop the ball, and that impression that you're even trying to make, you may not now make it as a result of the fact that you have taken on things that you shouldn't have taken on, right? As much as it is important to learn new things, as much as it is important to take on new skills as a result of the experiences, sector, niche that you're beginning to explore in your job or in your career or anything, it is also really important that you pay attention to yourself. Understand how to prioritize and pace yourself. So do this. I'm like, okay, you want us to do this? We already have this. Documentation is one really important part in any space you're doing. Document. So you have documentation, you have an idea of the timelines of X, Y, Z. Then you also have an idea of priorities. This is where we want to do this. This is where we can do this. Okay, we have 6 months to do X, Y, Z. If we add any other thing, it's going to affect this timeline. It is just so important that you are able to pace yourself. If not, what will happen is that the people that pushed you into it will leave you when you have now entered trouble. It is that understanding of optimizing for yourself, knowing what is priority, knowing what is really important, and understanding how to ensure that everything aligns in building what you really want to build. I hope this has been good. Off the top of my head, I can say that we spoke about time, we spoke about data, we spoke about managing yourself properly and pacing yourself properly, we spoke about overcompensating, we also spoke about community. Today's on is not so into branding, and I think I'm even going to be expanding the conversations of what I really want to be talking about on this channel from now on. I mean, so it could be branding, it could be several other things, but just something that is important to ensuring that more Africans are doing global things and more global things are focusing on what Africans can contribute to the flow. My name is Okpayemi Olugbemiro. There are several other videos on the channels that you can take and watch and like get to know stuff. But for today, please have a great time.